Well, it's been a very busy day here at Bealtaine Cottage, so I'm just going to take you around and show you what's been happening here in the Goddess Gardens. So first of all, I've had to take the door off the little wood stove in the lodge because the glass is cracked. So that's got to go into town for new glass. I've been collecting up all the wood, well, not all the wood, but a good bit of it in the garden. And down in the woodlands, all wood that I had cut, and I brought it into the barn and I've been jigsawing it up. I have a little jigsaw and some over there as well. This is my little jigsaw here, and that does the job just fine. So, oh Jack, no. My back is sore. I'm having to stop every so often and just stretch. It's a lovely evening. I've been working down by the pond as well. I think the time is about 4:45, something like that. So we'll walk down to the pond and have a look. I do like to, go back to where I was working and just peruse the site. You can see all the crocosmia coming up there just underneath the kitchen window. It's hard work, working outdoors, but it's so wonderful just to be outdoors. Hearing all the bird song and... Jack! Come on! Jack! What have you got in your mouth? Oh, you little rascal, he's got one... No. That's one of the little seed balls for the birds. Must have come off the roof. Oh! Now, let me just throw this back up onto the roof of the barn. See all the little pecking holes in it. No, Jack, it's not for you. Aren't you terrible? Right, I think that stayed. No, come on, let's go. Eating bird food. Can you hear those birds singing out spring? I was just watching something there on YouTube about the water crisis in South Africa and the fact that Cape Town is on a trajectory to run out of water sometime around the first week or so of April. And just on that note, water was recently declared to be a human right by the UN. Now, I would have assumed water to have been a human right from, the day dot. But here in Ireland, the government brought in legislation to basically privatise water. And this was, at the behest of the World Bank. The World Bank, no less, okay? The World Bank basically told Ireland, the Irish government, that water here had to be privatised. And this is part of the big bailout, following the 2008 bank crash. So the people of Ireland organised themselves. And I was one of them, even though I don't have mains water. I just have water from my little spring well, which I am personally responsible for. But I took part in the water protests, and we organised, dozens and dozens of protests. Some of them were massive down in Dublin. And we organised really well. all the local towns had protests, and even someone who came to stay with me from England, Andy, who came to stay as a B&B guest here, he came with me on one of the water protests in Boyle. Anyway, the long and short of it is the government had to completely retract everything. The people, because this is a republic, the people of Ireland won in the end. And they completely stopped the privatisation of water. The company that was set up by someone who's a member of the Bilderberg group in Ireland. Isn't this interesting? But Dennis O'Brien is his name, and he also owns big chunks of the media, because of course they all do, don't they? This is all part and parcel of the control of our resources. Well, the Irish people weren't having it, and when the government then finally retracted the entire thing, all of those people who had already paid water bills were given full refunds, and water is now back under the control of the people, as it should be. Anyway, I don't want this to turn into a rant. So I'm just going to continue walking around the pond. This is my water. Now this is a very interesting pond, and I'll tell you for why. If those birds will just shut up for a moment. When I first bought the cottage and land in 2004, there was no pond here. There was no stream here, okay? But the land was very wet. So in the permaculture design that I personally came up with, this was part of my own design, putting this pond in. And putting in the pond, come on Jack, we're going to go for walkies this way. You're not going to be stood there waiting for cars. Little joyriding dog. So, before I go any further, the frogs have started. They're down here in the pond. I'm hearing them croak. So, yeah. So all the water that comes through this pond now, you can see, flows off beautifully through a whole series of little waterways. This particular waterway here is tiered, so it takes into consideration the drop in the land, as you can see. So there we go. All this beautiful water. That comes out of good design in permaculture. And you know, I was talking about the permaculture ethics yesterday. Earth care, people care, fair share. So governments, I think, need to look seriously at permaculture and the design principles therein. And I think in particular goddess permaculture, because we're looking at all of life. Listen to those birds. So, now I'll just go up here. So I've been cutting brambles as well as cutting wood, and I'll show you the kind of wood I've been cutting, because this again was all part of the permaculture plan that I envisioned. So you can see I've cut a long stem of the willow there. Well, you see that now has been brought up to the house, into the barn, and makes beautiful little logs that I've showed you. And my orange light is flashing away here. There we go, there's the water flowing down. Oh, I'll just keep going, I think, until it just cuts out. That's probably the best thing to do. So you can see over there, I've been cutting more willow. And all the way up along this side of the pond here on the left. Now, Jack. Signs of spring. Let's walk up here and see if we can see what's happening here in the silt pond. The silt pond will need to be cleared this year because look at the amount of sand and silt in there. See? Now I can see all the water mint is coming up here, which is beautiful. That's a very potent water mint. Do you know, I think I might introduce some watercress into here, because I think watercress would grow very well indeed. It needs to have fresh water. Well, of course, this is water from the spring well, the one that I uncovered 13 years ago. There's also quite a lot of willow down here that I need to harvest. You see all these different stems? No. So we'll go this way, Jack. And hold on to this willow branch as I cross here. So you can see here where I've been cutting lots of brambles, because spring is a good time to start clearing the land a little bit, ready for the season of growth ahead. You can see all the pine needles here, just from these 5 pine trees, Scots pine trees. And you can see also where I've been clearing up the drains. See, I've cleared this one. And then that water over there is from the spring well. The land is very, very wet, but hopefully it'll start to dry out now a little bit. That's the spring well there. We'll just walk along this way. Squelch, squelch. Now we can see here the honeysuckle starting to come out. This is called woodbine here in Ireland. Of course it's wild honeysuckle, which is absolutely beautiful. So I've been clearing out this drain as well. Here's some more logs which I cut last autumn, which I need to bring up to the barn. Look what I see. In the shelter here of the fairy wood, I see some little primroses. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? The first primroses in the wood. Lots of ivy hanging down in big trails. There's absolutely masses of wood to be harvested here. There's some more primroses. Look at that. And the bird's nest fern never really died back over the winter. This is a very sheltered spot. Now let me just show you the sphagnum moss, because I say that this grows just everywhere. Look at this. Look. Huge mounds of it. See? Look. Grows over the rocks. Everywhere. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Now this stuff here, the sphagnum moss, is absolutely wonderful. It's wonderful stuff. It was used in World War One. You know, when soldiers got very bad wounds, they used the sphagnum moss to actually plug the wounds because of its healing properties. Isn't this amazing stuff? And there's so much of it grows here in Ireland because of course it likes to have the damp climate. Gorgeous stuff. Now, this is another big piece of wood, look, that I cut last autumn, and I just pulled it out there to stand it upright to kind of dry out a little bit. And I'll be bringing that over to the barn in the next few days.